neighborhood groups.
Correct.
To ensure that the environment our students are leaving from on their way to school or going to after school is safe and secure for them. So we're doing everything we can in the sphere that we're responsible for, and then seeking partnership beyond that.
I know you mentioned about the incident about the young lady with the bus. How important was it for her to be trained on a situation like that, because that could have been very fatal?
Ooh, absolutely critical, and my hat's off to Carol Stamper, who runs our transportation division. She not only runs a terrific program in terms of delivering transportation services, but is just laser-like focused on safety and security and training for our staff. So there's regular, periodic, required training, and I think the way she delivers it is in a way that that you want to be trained.
Okay.
You want to be prepared, and I think our bus drivers do a marvelous job every day in often very difficult circumstances. And the fact that we have so few incidents, and yet we have hundreds of buses on the road every day, just shows the quality of the work. It happens so routinely, we don't even think about it because they do such a good job.
They do. You know, I applaud, like you said, the individuals that teach these bus drivers and the bus drivers for having that dedication for their job.
Absolutely.
And that's a great thing. What the budget? I know we haven't heard a lot about that in today's news, but how is the budget situation at CMS?
Well, we are in the second year of a 2-year budget from the state, so we have less uncertainty this year from the state than we did last year.
Okay.
We've received no guidance from the county, so we really don't know what the situation is there in terms of whether there'll be a decrease, an increase, or flat funding from the county. So what we do know is that we've got to absorb about $7 million in cuts from the state, and it takes us about $10 million more to run the system next year because there'll be more students coming. And so we've got to absorb that $17 million, and then we're looking at a series of things to put back in the system. You mentioned teacher compensation earlier in the program. That will run, we estimate, somewhere between $25 and $30 million. We're also looking for additional staff in our high schools, additional technology and technology staff. We want to make an additional investment in the Communities and Schools program because that has been so beneficial to our students. There's other items such as ability to get our message out to the public through our website, enhanced communication, and a few other things that we're contemplating putting into our budget request. All total, that's probably in the neighborhood of $35 to $37 million additional. But we also have to go through what areas will we cut. So we'll continue to work on that until the end of March. In April, make a request, and hopefully in May know what the county's position is.
Okay, great, because that's one very important thing, that budget, because it really affects, you know, I guess just like I said, a lot of things within the school system.
Yes, and we really look to the county as our partners in the education system locally.
Yes, sir.
To support our efforts.
Okay, and what type of incentives have we been doing to reduce dropout and increase graduation within the CMS system?
One of the things we do is, particularly in our schools that have large numbers of students that are dropping out, we build 9th grade academies, sort of self-contained areas of the school to ease that transition from middle school to high school, and that's proven to be very successful. We've also implemented programs around credit recovery. For a student who is just short 1 or 2 credits from being on track to graduation, it's a way for them to go back and gain that credit that they're short and get back on track and support them. We're also much more focused in the elementary and middle school years to keep students on track, not let them get behind, even pre-kindergarten for that matter.
Okay.
And then one of the most exciting things that we have going is Project Lift, in which the philanthropic community came together and said, we want to be part of the school system. We want to contribute to the school system. We don't want to run it. We want to contribute. and they're in the process of raising $55 million, which will provide additional staff, additional support, programs through the school system to the 7 to 8 schools in the West Charlotte High School feeder pattern. And we think not only will that benefit the 7,000 students directly in that feeder pattern, but it will also enable us to develop similar programs and similar efforts in other parts of the school district to address the dropout rate. And the reason why that area was selected was, unfortunately, that has our highest dropout, lowest graduation rate. So we're going to go right where we need to improve the most and win in that area and then win in the other parts of town.
How do we motivate the youth into wanting to get that education? Because I guess it all begins with that individual, that child.
I think it starts with believing in the child. Making sure each child knows, I believe in you. I believe you can do it. And I believe you have a bright future in front of you. And I also believe you need to work hard to take advantage of the opportunity you have in front of you. So it's a combination of loving care and support, and also really firm, high expectations that I believe in you, but I believe you need to work hard to get there. And then everything that comes with that approach. I've talked to a lot of students who fell behind. That's what they tell me got them back on track and moving, was somebody believed in them. And then they worked hard and they got there.
And it's like you say, I think a lot of our youth, they just want to hear that positive, speaking positivity into them.
And I think they want that high expectations. Correct. They may never express that. A child isn't prone to say, hey, expect more of me. But when they accomplish something, they feel good. Mm-hmm. And that accomplishment builds confidence. That confidence builds success.
This seeing the kids graduate, that's an awesome feeling, I guess, not only for them, but the parents.
Oh, nothing's better. Absolutely.
Okay, how do you prepare the teachers for such a high numbers of students in that classroom?
So we, this past Tuesday, we received a report from a group of teachers who are leading a larger group of teachers around teacher effectiveness. Okay. And they talked about how teachers are coming together to develop better work products, better standards, higher expectations, how to better manage the classroom. Teachers developing their own standards around how to elevate their teaching and make their teaching more effective for students. That's the best thing we can do, is create an opportunity for the teachers to come up with solutions and then empower them and support them in improving their craft and in their profession. And that's exactly the path we're on with raising the performance of our system as a whole, is supporting our teachers, giving them the ability to develop that program that I spoke of, and then helping them improve their own individual skills. That'll raise the performance of the entire team, and celebrating the success that we have.
Mr. Davis, you've been on the Board of Education for a number of years. Where does that passion come from as far as wanting to provide that expertise you have to getting us the best school system that we can have?
Well, partly as a parent. I'm a parent of a CMS child, but I was a CMS child one time. I got a great start in life in Doc Carnegie's first grade class at Sedgefield Elementary School on Marsh Road. And when I look back, other than my family, that was probably the greatest experience I ever had. So CMS gave me a great start in life. It's the least I can do to pass that on to the next generation. So that's what gets me going every day.
You seem to get a little passionate about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you go inside these classrooms and see these little kids? How does that make you feel?
Well, there's really nothing better. When you see a child who you look in their eye and they understand the lesson, or they feel that satisfaction of learning something new, or solving a difficult problem, or completing a project, making a presentation. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. it kind of reminds all of us of our own experiences growing up.
Yes.
And it gives us great confidence in the future of our city and our country that we're going to hand it off to a generation that's going to take it further than we ever could.
CMS was just awarded nationwide award.
Yeah, the Broad Prize.
Correct.
Right.
You know, how important was that for us to receive that award?
Well, I think there's two parts to that. One is it's incredibly gratifying to know that the dedicated work of our staff and students is recognized nationally, and entirely deserving, because every day our staff busts their tail for our students, and our students work hard. And so from that standpoint, it's well deserved and gratifying. It gives me great pride in the school system. But at the same time, it reminds me of how far we got to go. I'll never be satisfied with only 74% of our students graduating. I'll never be satisfied until every one of our students graduates ready to go to Central Piedmont Community College or the college of their choice or into the military or into a career without any additional remedial training. We've come a long way. We got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
And so what that makes me think is we celebrate our success and then we double down on our efforts and we rededicate ourselves to moving this system forward and ensuring that every child gets the education they need.
Mr. Davis, we're running short on time. You know, I really appreciate you coming on the show and just talking about the CMS school system, because, you know, if we're going to be educated on things like the school system, I feel like the Board of Education, a member from the Board of Education, is best to give us that type of information.
Well, I just appreciate the opportunity to see you and to share a few thoughts, and thanks for your support of our school system and for your viewer support. We really need it and appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Davis, CMS Board of Education. Joining you, we have YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Just go to Paul Brown Show with guests. You have Mr. Eric Davis, or you have a number of my other guests. You know, I come on every Thursday at 5:30. I just want to thank God for making all this possible. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter. You know, there's a lot of people that make this show possible, and I just want to say thanks to each one of them for making all this possible, and for my guests like Mr. Davis and all my other guests who come on this show. I just want to say you be encouraged. Thank you.